I won.
Holy catfish, the Titans won. I kid you not, the Titans won a football game. Look at this. Look. The Titans won a football game. I'm going to give you the green light on what propelled them to victory, flash the red lights on the one thing that almost cost them the game, and we need to have a conversation about winning. All that and more on the post-game edition of Eki Sports. Now please tighten up that intro. Let's go. The Titans win! For real. They did. I'm not BSing you here. The Titans won 31-29 over the Cleveland Browns, and I'm just as surprised as you are. It was closer than the score indicated. It was a showdown between the two most polarizing quarterbacks in the 2025 class, and number one overall pick Cam Ward, fifth round selection of the Browns Shedeur Sanders. And look, Sanders filled up the stat sheet, 23 of 42, 364 yards, 3 touchdowns. He was also the team's leading rusher, 29 yards and a touchdown. But it was Cam Ward and the Titans who pulled away with the win. They prevail, which is why I'm giving the green light to Tony Pollard and the Titans running game. Welcome to the party, Tony Pollard, the Memphis native, former Dallas Cowboy. 25 carries, a career high, 161 yards, 2 touchdowns on the ground, a 65-yard house call in the first half. Tony Pollard and the Titans run game came alive and really took pressure off of Cam Ward, and which is why my second green light goes to, ladies and gentlemen, complimentary football. The Titans defense forced 2 turnovers. Special teams got a block punt from James Williams. They came up big in spots where they needed it, and it helped Cam Ward not have to be Superman, not have to shoulder the load for the entire football team. Everybody played a role in it, and it is something that head coach Mike McCoy has continued to preach since he assumed the head coaching role after the firing of Brian Callahan. And my third and most important takeaway is Jeffrey Simmons was large and in charge. 7 total tackles, a sack and a half. He was routinely in the Browns' backfield. He was an absolute difference maker and at times was the best player on the field. An honorable mention for me goes to the Titans' offensive line for holding all-world defensive lineman Myles Garrett to just 1 sack. And coincidentally, that was his only pressure of the game. Myles Garrett was held in check by this Titans offensive line, and they deserve credit too. Now, this was a game that they led at one point 31-17. And as the final score indicated, it was a little too close for comfort. So I've got a couple of flashing red lights in regard to this performance. Listen, I'm excited about what happened. I'm excited that they won a football game, but they very nearly blew it in the end. And it really goes back to conservative play calling from Mike McCoy. The last 9 plays of this game were all runs up the middle. The time on the clock wasn't taken down. You gave Shedeur Sanders and the Browns an opportunity to get back into this game, and they very nearly did it were it not for 2 very questionable 2-point conversion attempt decisions from head coach Kevin Stefanski in Cleveland. And I know that Browns media are going to have a field day with those decisions and how it led to a loss to the 1-win Titans. The second big one for me, 2 touchdowns from Cleveland. They cut the score to 2 late. And it continues this trend of questionable and conservative decisions from head coach Mike McCoy, and it very nearly cost them. Against a team the caliber of, say, the Buffalo Bills or their next opponent in San Francisco, this is a game that you don't win. You have to maintain your aggressiveness, especially in clutch situations. And the third and most, glaring red flag, I wouldn't necessarily say that it's something that had anything to do with the outcome of the game. It's just another one of those storylines that continue to make me itch. It is this narrative that Shedeur Sanders should have been the choice over Cam Ward. There are reasons why Shedeur Sanders fell to the 5th round. Some of it within his control, most of it not in his control. But this idea that this game is a declarative statement on who is the better quarterback in their rookie season, let's pump the brakes on that. Today, Cam Ward and the Titans prevailed, but at the end of the day, they're still rookies, and they have a long way to go. So no declarative statements on who is better. I see you people, I see you all making grand statements, trying to have think pieces written about who should have been taken where or what and all that. Let's pump the brakes on that. We need to have a conversation about fan bases being mad about winning. Please hear me when I say this. And I hope that it is clear. What I say is clear and concise and easy to understand. Under no circumstance do you ever feel upset about winning. Coming from where I come from, somebody who's been around sports his entire life, who tried to be an athlete, who has athletes in the family, and who have been around it from the time he was 6 years old, there's not a single athlete in any sport that doesn't want to win. And I can tell you, without a shadow of a doubt, that the people within that locker room at Ascension St. Thomas Sports Park, they want to win. It doesn't matter what, when, where, or how. They want to win. You cannot be upset about winning. Draft picks, be damned. They want to win. And there's nothing within this building, within their building, or any building in any sport where they're worried about the future. You're only worried about the next opponent and what you have to do to win. And I can assure you that the people within the Titans organization and that locker room, they don't care about draft picks. That's not what the concern is. Their concern is doing what they can to continue playing in this league. And the only way for you to continue having a life in the National Football League is by winning. And today was a good day on that front for the Tennessee Titans. Next Sunday, December 14th, they travel westward to play the San Francisco 49ers at Levi's Stadium in Santa Clara. Kickoff set for 3:25 Central Time. I'm going to be here talking and waxing poetic about all the goings-on with the Tennessee Titans. Stick around and stick with me.